Fox News alert the FBI arresting an alleged October 7th attacker living in Louisiana. Federal prosecutors say the 33-year-old man took part in the Hamas attack on Israel, then traveled to the U.S. on a fraudulent visa. Senior correspondent Jonathan Serrie has more on what we're learning. Jonathan.
Yeah, Sandra, he was living here in the U.S. legally, at least on paper.
Fox News just reported that a man accused of taking part in the October 7th Hamas attacks was living right here in America. Let's check it out.
Investigators say he lied on his visa application by failing to disclose his alleged connections to paramilitary groups. He was living in Lafayette, Louisiana. His name is Mahmoud Al-Muhtadi, and according to the criminal complaint filed in U.S. District Court, evidence shows that on the morning of October 7, 2023, Al-Muhtadi learned about the Hamas invasion.
There it is, the golden headline. Fox turns one man lies on a visa form into proof that the border is wide open and terrorists are flooding in. But let's be real, this guy didn't sneak across the border with a backpack. He got in through the system. So when Fox News uses this story to fearmonger about immigration, they're not protecting Americans, they're selling panic.
Armed himself, gathered others, and crossed into Israel with the intention of assisting with Hamas's terrorist attack. That coordinated assault involved rape, torture, kidnapping, and the deaths of 1,200 people. Investigators say Al-Muhtadi's phone used a cell tower located near Kibbutz Kfar Aza, the location of one of the worst massacres in that attack on Israel. The court filing also includes social media photos that investigators say shows Al-Muhtadi wearing the red headband of the National Resistance Brigades, or NRB, a Gaza-based paramilitary group. It also includes a transcript of a phone call in which Al-Muhtadi allegedly tells another man, quote, "If things go the way they should."
Absolutely horrific, no question. But Fox doesn't stop there. They take this one-man alleged actions and start framing it like it's a national security crisis in U.S. borders. That is the move. Use one monster to justify mass fear. And the irony, when homegrown extremists commit violence, the same people downplay it as mental illness. But if it's someone tied to Hamas, suddenly it's proof that the border is broken and America is under siege. Double standards everywhere.
Syria will take part, Lebanon will take part, and it's going to be a third world war. Sandra, Al-Muhtadi is currently being held in Louisiana at the St. Martin Parish Correctional Center as this case unfolds. Back to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Jonathan. John.
All right, let's bring in Trey Gowdy, host of Sunday Night in America, for more on this. Here's what the FBI said in part in a statement. Quote, evidence shows that on the morning of October 7, 2023, Al-Muhtadi learned about the Hamas invasion, armed himself, gathered others, and crossed into Israel with the intention of assisting in Hamas's terrorist attack. Evidence further shows that Al-Muhtadi provided false information in his U.S. visa application relating to his involvement with the paramilitary organization, connection to Hamas, participation in a terrorist attack, and military training. Now in custody, but you got to wonder, how'd this guy get into the country?
Oh, I don't wonder. He probably came through a pretty porous southern border, or else he lied on a visa. But that's the least of his problems, John. His real problem is the close working relationship between Mossad and the CIA with John Radcliffe and Shin Bet, which is the Israeli law enforcement, and our FBI and Kash Patella. And I'll just tell anyone involved in the Hamas attack on October the 7th, you need to sleep with one eye open at least as long as Radcliffe is at the CIA and Patel is at the FBI.
This is straight up war talk. The FBI is framed like an international hit squad. Sleep with one eye open. That is not law enforcement. That is revenge drama. Fox loves this tone because it sells fear as justice. It's not about stopping terrorism anymore. It's about keeping the viewers angry, emotional, and glued to the screen.
It's been over 2 years. They just found him. They're not going to stop looking. Just like we didn't stop looking after 9/11, Israel and the U.S. are not going to stop looking for you. And if you had anything to do with that barbaric attack, they're going to find you. Am I surprised it's Lafayette, Louisiana? I am. home of Jeff Landry, speaking of former prosecutors.
Yeah.
But Cash and John, both former U.S. attorneys, they're not going to stop until everyone that was involved is brought to justice.
Or as some say locally, Lafayette, Louisiana. Governor Jeff Landry, by the way, Trey just posted this on his Twitter account. Justice will be served. Perhaps this is Louisiana lockup's newest resident? Perhaps that's the case. I'll get your reaction.
You know, Louisiana is beautiful. I would probably rather be there than sent back to Israel. But that's always an option. Send them back to the country that they victimized. Look, like I said, his visa issues are the least of his problems. He's either going to, there's some not so nice prisons in Louisiana. His future is looking very bleak. But that's also true for anyone that has not also been apprehended. Ratcliffe and Patel are going to work with their Israeli counterparts as long as they're in office, period, full stop. If you're involved in the October 7th attack, sleep with one eye open.
Yeah, in announcing these arrests, here's what the Attorney General Pam Bondi said, quote, after hiding out in the United States, this monster has been found and charged with participating in the atrocities of October 7th, the single deadliest day for Jewish people since the Holocaust. While nothing can fully heal the scars left by Hamas's brutal attack, this department's Joint Task Force, October 7, is dedicated to finding and prosecuting those responsible for that horrific day, including the murder of dozens of American citizens. I mean, this task force is going to continue. Maybe this is just the first person to be unearthed.
I hope so. And Pam, A.G. Bonnie raises a really good point. It was not just Israelis that were victimized on that day. There were people from all over the world, including the United States, that were, I mean, children beheaded, women raped. I mean, it was equivalent to our 9/11.
Fox knows exactly what they are doing here. By comparing October 7 to America 9/11, they are cementing an emotional trigger in the viewers' minds. The horrors are real, but the takeaway becomes more political, more war, more surveillance, and more we need strong leadership. This is how they turn tragedy into justification of power. Let me know your thoughts on the story in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and remember, always keep thinking.
We spent 20 years finding out who was responsible for that. Israel is going to spend at least that long.